the pre-holiday season. We're fired up and ready for Friday's training. We're going to have a lot of great guests coming on today. We are blessed to be here, and I'm going to bring on our first guests and see what's going on today. I got every platform running, which is super cool. I call it the Sanford and Son record.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, of course, you're on Clubhouse. So if you'd like to join in other ways, please feel free to do so as well. So Dave, I'll pass it back over to you if you want to bring on the first guest here on the Fireside Chat Breakfast of Champions.
Absolutely. And we are so blessed to be here. Rob Gill is going to be our first guest, and Rob is and I are going to talk about where we are today. But a lot of people are confused, Jake, about the difference between sacrifice and investment. And one of my favorite investment strategists is Rob Gill, and he's the founder and CEO of Epic Financial Strategies. We do a lot together in the financial literacy space, but also in the investment side of things, meaning investing in ourselves. And so, to that end, we're going to bring on our friend here. Let me get this going. So I appreciate everyone's patience. Please invite your family, friends, associates in with that plus button. We're going to bring Rob Gill up here to talk about the difference between, here he is. Hey, Rob, how are you? You got it, man. Well, I've been doing these trainings for over 23 years. And this time of year, I create a ledger. And the ledger is investment versus expense. But a lot of people don't understand the nuance of sacrifice and investment. And if you're not, my mom told me a long time ago when I was in law school and I wanted to drop out because I had to borrow a bunch of money to go to law school. And she's like, David, if you're not going to invest in yourself, what are you ever going to invest in? And I've carried that forward now for over 30 years and teaching people about the difference between investment and sacrifice. And you and I talk all the time about this bank on yourself or invest in yourself strategy. So I'm going to start off with a simple question. What do you see the difference between investment and expense? And how is that relative to this idea of sacrifice and investment?
But now I think I can 2020 campaign, a lot of people that have really invest themselves through education and be able to understand that, okay, if you really take the place and the mindset of saving first, right, a lot of good things are happening much quicker and being able to understand how to create your own leverage control and make good sound decisions financially that put you in place to prosper, especially now in the next 2 years when things are on sale or on discount, whether it's just on market, whether it's real estate. I mean, listen, even Bitcoin, I would never take more than 5% of the monthly basis to that, but that's 70,000 down to 17,000. But always beware of the kryptonite. The folks have been going to tell you to buy any kind of crypto account and all the kryptonite. Something I made up is, somebody that'll don't let me in the house a lot of ability, but always be mindful of the overall planning strategy.
And in that overall planning strategy, we have to plan not only for expected things, but how do we plan for the unexpected? So how do we plan for the FTX situation, or how do we plan for interest rates being hiked up way farther than we anticipated, or even personal things that can happen, like our health issues and other things that can devastate our financial strategy? How do we plan for the unexpected?
talking about, and there's no fake confusion, and I'm not trying to have ultimate financial success, whether it's FTX or whether it's just a lot of goes on a daily basis, a weekly, monthly basis, with money that's that. So when all of a sudden the unexpected happens, the folks that are liquid and have cash, money and savings, are the folks that really win in this environment. So we kind of say like a lot of our folks are high stepping for this recession because we weren't overexposed in FTX, we weren't overexposed in crypto. Matter of fact, that we believe that you outpace inflation, you have some guarantees around that on certain other products. It's there where you can leverage and buy other asset classes that produce not only cash flow but multiple rates of return off the same dollar.
And to that measure, one of the components that you and I talk about when we're talking about banking on ourselves or investing in ourselves as a strategy is it goes beyond, outpacing inflation or looking at the tax benefits and how to utilize our 401ks and, different asset-based lending strategies, all the different things that from years of experience you have. But there's another aspect that really has helped me over the last 16 years is, I lost everything by not being financially literate, by not asking for help, by not finding people like you that sit in a situation that I want to be in. But it was another aspect that I think a lot of people don't talk about when it's banking on ourselves, and it's the emotional side. Let me give you an example. Let's take crypto, for example, that I had a small amount, as you had recommended as well, in the crypto space, just a small amount. And now I've been able to leverage that. When it went up, I took all of my initial investment out in a little bit of profit. And now I'm playing with the house's money, as you practice and preached. And now I got a little bit more in that low percentage. But the nice thing about it is I didn't spend any time, right? I didn't spend my time looking at every single day. I knew my timing and risk tolerance, that it was highly volatile and highly risky. And so when it went up a lot, I didn't let it waste my time or derail my strategy. And it went down a lot, I didn't let it waste my time or derail my strategy. And I think a lot of people don't look at the emotional attention and intention aspect of investing in ourselves. Where do people fall down? You work with thousands of clients. Where do they fall down by not understanding? Look, it's one thing to invest, but it's another thing to watch the stock market for 6 hours a day and stop producing income.
The email strategy of the loan, which is insane, is an example of not only structure, but also no emotional structure, because it goes into certain categories that are based on the person's needs, based on how much stuff content. And it translates itself to all other areas of your life. You lost it all in 2008, your plus particular, but you already knew when it was happening that you were already around the corner on it. You were going to affect the change based on the things that you learned about what you did. So I think that most people get taken away once you bring what you do. Take life for something, take probably stuff. I think at the end of the day, what we need to do is make sure folks understand the importance of not only leverage control, but how to diversify within and amongst asset classes where we build out personal financial websites for everybody. And in that space, we want to make sure that there's no junk drawer financial planning, but actually like a system and a process to all their different money buckets. So all the decisions are based on logic, math, and science, with weights and measures, elements, and components. Certainly not emotional timidity or gut level hunch. And I think that's where we look at the cryptos and the Bitcoins and all the other stuff. When the gut level hunches kick it in and markets are just going up for no reason, I think folks get trapped into a situation where the worst thing that could have happened is they made short money. And then they think quit their day job. You know what I mean? Like, it's never fun. You're in the first person. You're always out there to serve and contribute because like all the folks listening to now, when it comes to money, the mindset, the quickest accelerant is to serve and contribute to other people. And if you believe that, then once you get educated on money, how that stuff just becomes.
Yeah. Lastly, we talk about financial wellness, but number one non-negotiable, I think, that gets lost in financial wellness is just wellness in general. What happens is we start discounting or diverting from our true wellness, our mental, our spiritual, and physical wellness. And I always say, and it's probably can't be said enough, when you're healthy, you get as many wishes as nothing gives you more freedom than your health. Nothing. I don't care how much effing money you have. Steve Jobs had more money than most people will ever dream of having. And I will tell you that he was not free because he didn't understand that his wellness was his freedom, and that finances should assist you in that non-negotiable and priority. How do you integrate mental, physical, and spiritual wellness into financial wellness? Because we're talking about investing in ourselves, not investing in real estate, stock, or crypto. We're talking about the major investment that provides, as you said, more of that compound interest of life called wellness.
Health and spirituality, the health side of it is something that I need to take serious yesterday. And what I noticed on the business side, being on the business and trying to fire the hustler as a CEO, right? At the end of the day, I realized that things there are certain blind spots that were put into the business. And that's my next step and what I'm investing. I continue following myself as to be. Why be successful if I'm not diabetes or heart attack or if I'm not a stroke or why get a level of success and all of a sudden because I get an injury due to my physical stuff, physically right now and be set for 6 months. If that could happen, why not stay ahead of the time and be able to myself whether I'm happy, sad, successful or not, and really get to change. I think that's the biggest thing about
Yeah, they love it here. I love it too. And it's so much, it's so good to hear, because I would always put my finance and family before my own health, before investing in my own self. And what I realized, if you do that, you'll never get to your health, because everybody wants to make money and have time with their family over jogging or working out or eating right. And we have to reverse that paradigm for everyone in the world to understand that if you want to have more money and more family time, then you got to be healthy. So congratulations, Raj, for that epiphany. I also have a sleep coach, by the way, on that matter too, besides a health coach at Optimal Health. Somebody's on top of, what I'm doing to make sure that I'm going to not only be here for a long time, but be here with quality time for a long time. Keep investing in yourself. If you want to learn more about banking on yourself, there's no better guide, no better mentor than I know. My mentor of banking on myself is Rob Gill, and he's the CEO of Epic Financial Strategies, and he's very available, very acceptable. I'm really enjoying your videos as well, my friend. So keep up the great work. Thanks for joining me. See you, brother. Awesome. So, yep, there is a difference between that investment and expense. And I think it's time that we do that inventory and see exactly, is this an expense? Do I really need a $2,500 a month car payment compared to, is this an investment of $2,500 into something that's going to yield a greater gain for me or others? And investing in others is also investing in yourself, which is what we'll get to next. Go ahead, Jake. Let's reset the room. Let's invite more people in here. Let's get this party fired up. We are only a quarter of the way done here on the Breakfast of Champions. Go ahead, Jake.
Let's get the party continue the party, keep it it going. Thank you so much, Rob Gill, for joining. If anyone would like to reach out to Rob, you can just email Davey. I'm sure he's happy. I know he's happy to make the connection to Rob Gill. David's email is david@dmeltzer.com. david@dmeltzer.com. Let's continue to share the room here on Clubhouse. You can do that at the bottom. There's a square with an arrow. If you push that, you can share on Twitter, Facebook, your text messages, of course, here on Clubhouse. Let's continue to share the Breakfast with Champions. Today's topic in David's hour of training is the Fireside Chat. So Dave will be bringing on 3 people. Of course, Rob Gill was first, and Dave will be bringing on 2 more. There'll be time to ask your questions. So if anyone has any questions here on Clubhouse, just raise your hand or back channel me, and we will aim to bring you up. So Dave, with that in mind, I will pass it back over to you if you want to bring on your next guest, who's Nick Cavuto.
Yeah, we'll bring up Nick and other people as well. So I want people to, if you have questions, to join us. We have all these different platforms. So please, on the Fireside Chat Day, be a part of the Fireside Chat. I just have pre-lined up some people so we don't waste time. And one of those people is Nick Cavuto, as you mentioned as well. And if anybody does want the Invest in Yourself exercise, just email me. I'm happy to send that to you to determine between, is this an investment or an expense? We want to reduce our expenses and increase our investment in self. And that's investing in others and self, our skills, our knowledge, and our desires aligned with that. So efficiently. Anyway, we have an unbelievable marketer, brand officer himself of his own company. But what I love about Nick Cavuto is his understanding of his relationships to self, and that relationship being an investment, not an expense. So let me bring on my friend Nick Cavuto and see exactly how that is relative to the investment in self, our relationship with self. There we are. Nick Cavuto, how are you? It's great to see you. Well, we were talking about investing in self, and both you, myself, and Rob have gone through a transformation, and it occurred with that investment that we made in ourselves. And I used to talk about my number one relationship was with my wife. And what I realized was no matter who my primary relationship was with, it didn't matter unless I had a healthy relationship or investment in myself. And you believe these relationships are rocket ships. How have you transformed to understand the most important relationship in your life, and how is that a rocket ship?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing has to do with having clarity. I think that's a big thing in my life is, get those people that are even one is what an egg is. So there's this personal responsibility conversation. Looking for that clarity and giving the product what kind of thing is clear is complete but only yourself and to your source, but also to the people that are like kids, like your community, like your how responsible. So just in my world is focusing on clarity for us how to share
And with and you mentioned something, the name of the game, right? And one of the things that I had to learn was to not take myself so seriously, and to not allow the ego or fear-based consciousness in order to interfere with the way that I'm playing my game. And I see so many people get in their own way by giving the meaning to the past, which is not aligned with this game and what they're looking for. They can't even tell you what the game is or what winning a game would be. There is a fierce game called life. And number one, how do you give or share the perspective that it is only a game, that, you don't take yourself so seriously? And two, how do you figure out how to play the game well?
Yeah, well, kids have a wonderful way of
me, it's just understanding that I've already won. It sounds crazy, but there's a little promise that I have. You already won. There's nothing to read. There's nothing to protect. You carry that body, that performance. I think it gives you the ability to focus on the reason for you. We can do the presence. And it's a lot of stuff that just as well. Something happening. Play and rest is not just fun. It sounds again very interesting, but there's upside down. That's actually what I know through the day, and it's tested and proven, and I learned mentors that people. So it doesn't mean that I'm irresponsible. That they do that. I've been created for a reason. I know what that reason is. I need to figure out, hey, what are the personal responsibilities I need to take in my life? So I've done over 100 therapy sessions. Yeah, I mean, most people can say that to what's the inner game, what's going on inside. But when we calm down knowledge, life just becomes an experience, not something to be experienced. The lessons learned have been lost to be changed. So that's my story.
I love your story. And, you know, the theme for today is investing in yourself, and understanding self relative to everything else. But you also brought in another component of self, and that's faith. And I don't like to separate faith from people, meaning that everyone has a religious perspective of faith, a spiritual, a philosophical, a theoretical, a pragmatic, a mathematical, a scientifical explanation or meaning of faith. And I'm cool with it. And for me, it's a really big transition because it was funny when I was younger. I told my mom, in essence, I believed I didn't have faith, meaning I told her I didn't believe in God. And my mom said, "Oh, you believe in God. You're serving the wrong God. You have lots of faith. You have faith in the wrong things, just like money, right? Money doesn't buy happiness or love. You're just shopping for the wrong things. Money's important because if you shop for the right things with your money, you're going to be really happy. But even more than the energy of money is our energy of love, light, and lessons, faith. And when we shop for the right things with our faith, it's even more powerful than shopping with money. And because the bank account of faith is infinite and unlimited and abundant, where the bank account of shopping with money does have a limit in the pragmatic world. And so for you, you've mentioned many different nuances of faith just in the few minutes that we've had here in investing in yourself. How can we use our faith to invest in ourselves?
Yeah, well, I think it all boils down to what you believe in. Experiences you want to get through these experiences stuff that you beautiful lives. Really, you think that you believe that. So when he said, I don't believe it, it gives you that experience of being filled, experience of like being experienced, and okay, and then something can go. You know, like our belief systems can change over time. Like I was he was raised by guy who, was a grandmother who found Jesus. I mean, like, so that transformed my father's life. I mean, I have a lot of beliefs. And so I think it's all about conviction. When you're clear, you can be committed. You're committed, you can have courage. Guess what? You gotta believe it's possible. Just like Indiana Jones stepping on that first invisible bridge. It's like the bridge of belief in life is like one of the very last steps we have to take when it comes to having a deep conviction about who we are, what we're doing, why we're here. And that's how you make a unique contribution. Without conviction, it's like going and doing things, but not really having a big enough reason of why, which is the final step in the 5 daily practices. You apply it like deodorant every day. So that's the concept. It's like I started figuring out my sense of conviction, my sense of why had a lot more to do with what I was clear about, what I knew that I wanted, and then driving down the pathways that you taught me to get to a place of deep conviction. I think having deep conviction in life,
having that fire that's in your belly is where actually the things that you want and the things that you have can agree. When those things can agree, my goodness, that's an unstoppable person. And I've noticed it in my life. That's where life really truly starts to expand. I believe you with 100% certainty, man. I did a meditation the other day. I went on a little walk with God, and I'm like, dang, that's $100 billion in my. That's good. My goodness, what opportunity is to do.
Let's go. And that conviction is it is reconciled with happiness and the ability to enjoy the consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit pursuit of your truth, your potential, your love, your light, your lessons, knowing that we need to identify not what we're looking for or to, but we're looking through what already exists by understanding what are we doing to interfere with what's already been given us. And the miracles become omnipresent with the holidays around us. And if we seek that omnipresent and abundant, unbelievable light, lessons, and love in whatever religious, theoretical, philosophical, spiritual aspect that you bring to it. But if it brings you the enjoyment of the consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit pursuit of your truth, you will be fulfilled. You will be passionate. You will be purposeful and even profitable, believe it or not. And Nick, you are guiding so many. I know you're going to have a few events, including one coming up this spring in Nashville, I believe. And I'm hoping to take a part of that as well, and inviting all of this community down to join us in person to learn how to pursue your potential, to pursue your truth. Nick, where can people reach out to you for the Sherpa that you are in that journey of commitment?
So much, David. Thank you for your contribution in my life. So you are amazing. You're so blessed.
I feel the same way about you. AlignCon, I love that name. And we talk about alignment, the synergy, the supplementary values that we have in alignment with the trajectory of what we think we want in the future, or better. And better comes with the faith that there's something bigger that loves us more than our moms love us, that protects and promotes us, not punishes us. Well, friend, you are protecting and promoting so many others. Please join me again. Thanks for coming on Clubhouse on the Breakfast of Champions. Right on. Thank you, brother. All right. I'm bringing on all the players preset, making it easier on me. I want to thank everyone for being here. Some people have actually been here for over 23 years. I'm seeing some names of people's that have been in the early days, the Roger Brummets of the world in the house, have been coming to my trainings when it was one or two people. And now we're over 80,000 people registered on all these different platforms to join us here on the Breakfast of Champions every Friday for free Friday trainings, consisting of all types of different content. But anyway, Jake, we're halfway done. Why don't you reset the room? Let's keep inviting some people in here. Let's continue to learn about how we invest in ourselves.
Perfect, will do. And if anyone would like to connect with Nick Cavuto, just email david@dmeltzer.com, david@dmeltzer.com. Thank you, everyone, for joining and being here. Of course, this is the Breakfast with Champions, David's training that he's been doing for over 23 years. And it's pretty incredible that some have been here for over those 23 years, for all those 23 years. So thank you, everyone, for joining and being here. Let's continue to share the room. You can do that here on Clubhouse. At the bottom, there's a square with an arrow. So let's continue to invite your friends, family, the whole community here on Clubhouse and all your favorite social media channels. There will be time for questions. So if anyone has a question that you'd like to ask David here on Clubhouse, just raise your hand or back channel me and we will aim to bring you up. So with that in mind, Dave, let's bring up Brad Bergeson. I'll pass it back over to you so you can bring up Brad. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And like you said, please reach out to me if you want the Invest in Yourself guide. If you want my books, if you need any help at all, just reach out. I like Rob had said, I got a great email system that allows me to personally respond in cryptic and templated and customized answers. So we're good. I will tell you that on the webinar, on IG, on TikTok, we got tons of questions. So we're going to bring up our next guest here. And it's really interesting. I've known this guy since he was a kid, and he is the founder of Alexander's Grace, and is an influencer marketing company, with influencing being a key word to me. Because welcome, Brad. I don't believe in influencers anymore. I don't want to be around influencers. I think a lot of the influencers are spreading the flu, the dis-ease. They're standing in front of stuff they don't own, stuff that they rented. They're putting us on a trajectory of interference by spreading the flu. And I'm looking to create a community like you, and would even hopefully motivate or inspire you to start saying that you're an influencer marketing leader, putting people in the flow, actually reducing the amount of flu, reducing the dis-ease. I have a statement: you're only one thought away from ease. And I want everyone to let that sink in for 1 second. We talk about planting seeds under trees that you may never sit under. Think about that. You are just one thought away from being at ease. So if you have anxiety, fear, resentment, offense, anger, separation, inferiority, superiority, if you have resentment or guilt, any of these dis-eases, think about when you feel that dis-ease, I'm only one thought away from being at ease. And let us help you. Let people like Brad Bergenson, who's here today, teach you how to have that thought and to utilize it to be an influencer, to create a community of people that want to help each other and know people who can help us. And that's really your mission, Brad, is to create this community of influencers, people who want to help each other and people who know people that can help us. Welcome to the Breakfast of Champions.
Thanks for having me.
And so you're a lot younger than me, and I've known you since you were literally a kid and just killing it in the gold business and the jewelry business. And you've really made great growth over the years. What do you think about the idea of influencers versus influencers? Someone from your age group and your perspective.
So essentially for us, we had to decide what we're going to attack with technology.
Nice. And how did you attack it?
So essentially we created a free platform. So the influencers get everything from coaching to the free web store, they get an influencer trust score, and they get a guaranteed payment per post to promote a brand or product. But we're not actually going after influencers with this platform. It's for everybody. So it doesn't matter how many followers you have, because we're able to group people together, leveraging the score, everybody gets paid something for the post.
And so the companies that are participating have a very wide spectrum instead of a narrow one. And so if someone has, whether they have 100, 100,000 or 100 million, everybody proportionally gets paid from the brand in order to share whatever solution, product, service there is. Is that correct?
The average person has a higher engagement than a typical celebrity or influencer. That's our hypothesis, is that the return on investment is going to be much higher for brands. So to actually have and the ability for a brand to even like hyper target for local businesses too.
Yeah, it's so interesting because when you approach me about the influencer idea, and obviously I work with a lot of brands in the space and a lot of billionaires, millionaires, entrepreneurs, celebrities, athletes, and entertainers who have really big followings. Some are real and some are fake, but they have followings, which is a whole nother realm. Is if someone has 100 to 1,000 followers, they're not fake. But it was interesting because started watching my wife, because she has really great content and has no interest at all of being an influencer, has no interest at all. She just like sharing, her daily and her friends' daily activities and, staying in touch, which is, I think, what Facebook was built to do way long ago. Is like, hey, let's stay in touch with our college friends, which made sense. But it was interesting as, I grew organically, the ambassadorship that, has really grown today. I look at my wife and I always joke around. I'm like, man, I wish I had the engagement that you had, right? Because her engagement is, literally almost 100%, you know. Yeah, I would think the challenge though, in which is the challenge in life, is aggregating, the smaller people, right? The bigger people, I don't think, it's as difficult. There's a process, a procedure, there's a normal course of bureaucracy that is already in existence, same as sports agentry or entertainment. But no one's ever approached the smaller influencers. And so, how difficult is it to build that community of the smaller audiences that are much more engaged?
For example, a free campaign.
And, the theme for today is investing in yourself. And the whole premise of your platform is to be able to invest in yourself and have a strategy of investing in yourself. And you're someone, as I have stated, have known you a long time. You've shifted that paradigm of investing in yourself, physically, spiritually, mentally, in the financial, into the family, into the health. For you, what was the mindset shift? That, I mean, you're in incredible shape, you have a wonderful family life, an extraordinarily successful business, and that wasn't the case when I met you. And you're on a whole different level. What were some of the key strategies that you had to invest in yourself, where now you're helping so many other people?
I think that when we met, especially, I already had it all figured out. When I was married for 22, and I quickly figured out that that was not the case. Inside of the successes, there's so many failures, and that's really my biggest takeaway is humility.
Wow, it's one that I had to live through, as you know, as well. I just wish I would have gained it before I lost $100 million because of the lack of humility. And I'll tell you a funny story real quick, Brad, because I had someone that had a relationship like we have and knew me in my early 20s. He was my first direct report boss when I started at West Publishing in 1992. And his name's Don Filipovich. And I, would put this out there publicly as well. But I, especially in that relationship, I knew everything. I thought he was the dumbest, most ridiculous, lost boss in the world. And, if I was in charge now, meanwhile, remember, this company exited for $3.4 billion. So either they were extremely stupid and lucky, or they actually may have known more than me. And I benefit from it, that. But when I lost everything and started a different trajectory, a different journey, I actually found him and called him up and said, hey, I just want to tell you, I'm sorry, because, I did not give you the deference and understanding and love for what you were trying to teach me that I wasn't ready to learn. And I just want to thank you, because although we both prospered from the opportunity extremely well, that the seeds you planted in me when I needed them have grown incredible trees that now drop seeds on people like Brad Bergenson, on people that are involved in Alexander's Grace, these young people that absolutely will change the way we look at things and change the world because of it. And I want to thank you for making that investment in yourself to continue to grow and excel. Everyone out there, no matter who you are, you should be reaching out to Alexander's Grace. You can make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun with this new platform that aggregates the biggest names in the world. If you're not a Kardashian, just join them and use your hyper engagement to profit off of their bug light. It's an extraordinary business model. I guarantee over the next 10 years, people are going to be trying to follow the incredible entrepreneur, Brad Bergenson. Usually I got double M's, but we got the double B today. Brad Bergenson, check him out. If you want to sign up for the beta or want to get on the wait list, Brad, where can people join you? Awesome. Thank you for empowering the little guys and girls out there. Brad Bergenson, thanks for joining me. Take care. All right, we got the Breakfast of Champions. I got hundreds of questions, Jake. So let's quickly, we got about 15 minutes left. Let's go ahead and reset the room. If anybody wants the Invest in Yourself guide or my book, just email me. I'll send it to you. If it's free, it's we. That's what I always say. So just email me, Jake. Let them know where, let them know how, let them know when. Let's reset the room and let's finish strong.
Perfect. Let's finish strong. And yes, for when, anytime, where, it's emailing David at dmeltzer.com, david@dmeltzer.com. You can get the Invest in Yourself guide, David's book, or of any questions or anything that you like, just email David. Thank you so much. 3 incredible guests that you just brought on, Dave. If anyone would like to connect with them, just email David as well. We got about 16 minutes left here to bring on some people to ask some questions. Dave to take some questions on Zoom and Instagram and TikTok. Let's continue to share the room here on Clubhouse. Share with your friends, share with your family, share with the whole community. So with that in mind, Dave, I'll pass it back over to you, Dave, if you want to bring on a question on Zoom, and then we'll start here with William on Clubhouse when you're ready.
All right, thanks. Yeah, I got literally hundreds here. So thank you very much. I also want to let people know we do have that what I call sponsor and power sponsor group that I give office hours every Monday. So if you want one-on-one help with me every Monday, if you want introductions from me every Monday, if you want a group of people that are helping one another and know people who help one another, I'm closing out that group at the end of the year. So please reach out to me, join the group. We may start a new one in 2023, but this will be, we have so many in there. It's time to close that one out. So I want to thank everybody in the group and recruit your friends. We are closing it out at the end of the year. I want to thank you, Jake, as well for helping me. All right, here we go. I'm going to start with this one because I love it. What are some of your favorite gratitude practices? Well, I have a 14-day gratitude challenge that's free that puts in my 14 favorite practices of gratitude. But the number one practice, the favorite practice of mine, is still something that I have difficulty with, which is to say thank you before I go to bed and to say thank you before I wake up. When I wake up. It sounds simple. It takes 0.1 seconds and it's free. And I can't tell you how difficult it's been over 16 years to do it every day. It takes 0.1 seconds. It's free. And I have missed so many days over the 16-year period that I'm embarrassed to mention it. And I have talked on stages and TV shows, movies, all the places that I coaching, these free trainings, the group, everywhere I go, I talk about gratitude. And I am the biggest hypocrite when it comes to gratitude because I forget to say thank you. And I don't say thank you all the time. And it's free. And it takes 0.1 seconds. And it has no negative impact on anything. It only has positive impact. I can't think of anything more powerful. I have studied physics, quantum physics, and metaphysics. It's incredible. I have surrounded myself with the world thought leaders. They all agree. They do their own gratitude challenges, their own gratitude programs, their own gratitude practices, from Deepak Chopra to Sadhguru to Jack Canfield to Mary Morrissey to Oprah to every single person on earth that is a thought leader tries to propel us into a state of gratitude. And yet all of us, including me, forget to say thank you. And we don't say it, even though what? It's free and it takes 0.1 seconds. So my favorite gratitude practice is to have a habit machine that has coherence, the ability to remember and to do. That's what coherence is. Their ability to remember to say thank you and to do it. And to do that every night before I go to bed. And when I wake up, the very first plateau is set at the highest frequency of gratitude, of the light, the love, and the lessons, the perspective of something bigger and better that protects and promotes us. Please, everyone, if you want the gratitude challenge, that's terrific. It's free. Go ahead. But at the very least, don't forget tonight, because on average, half of you will forget tonight. Don't forget tomorrow morning, because on average, another half of us will forget again. And 3 days from now, before we get back to the next Friday training, please don't forget. And please say thank you before you go to bed and when you wake up. And thank you for that reminder, that remembrance and recollection to our higher selves, that the power of gratitude is the power of perspective. It's the power of participation in that perspective. What a great question online. I know we got William waiting. Jake, let's bring William up and see what questions he has.
Welcome, William. I see you just unmuted yourself. Welcome to the clubhouse.
Hello, hello. You might know this voice, David. It's Willie.
Willie,
How we
Free
doing,
Willie's
brother?
here. Hey, buddy.
Hey, how we doing?
Amazing. Thanks
so
for
much.
joining.
Hey, yeah, on those lines, I want to start with thank you. Simply, you've changed my life, and it's only been a short time that we've even known each other, so I appreciate that. But today's question is, investing in yourself is kind of the line that we're working with, and what I was thinking about is, how do you know when you need to invest in some time off? Because I'm feeling a little burnt out. I'm ready to make a trip, which I already have planned. But the follow-up question is investing in time off while still leveraging and keeping your business going, because I know you do that at a very high level.
Oh, man, this question I love. It also is one that I'm constantly working at, because I will tell you that I had a little bit of arrogant ignorance in this question in the past, because instead of meeting people where they are, I assumed my practices, because I am very productive, accessible, and gracious with my time. I study time. It's the dependent variable of all matter in my life, subjective and objective matter. It is the quantitative measure that I utilize for anything and everything. And so when I suggest or try to empower people to have weighted balances based on time, to give a minimum amount of time every day to their non-negotiables, it gets misinterpreted not only by others, but by me. I believe in a zeroing effect. So I take the most important prioritized activities and non-negotiables in my life, and I do them every day, but I just don't do them the same amount of time. The one non-negotiable that I do every day as a priority, the number one, is my health. So I give a minimum of an hour a day on that. And then the next one is my family. So I give another minimum, right? I give a minimum of an hour on my health, a minimum of 30 minutes with my wife, minimum of 30 minutes with my son, who's 12. I give a minimum of 2 minutes a day with my three daughters, 23 years old, 21-year-olds, and 18 years old. To be like, only 2 minutes? I'm like, dude, I asked for 5. They gave me a minimum of 2. That doesn't mean I only spend 2, but every day I spend at least 2 minutes. And then I spend a minimum amount of 10 minutes a day studying my time, called being a student of my calendar. So I implement the 5 daily practices as a student of the calendar, and I spend 10 minutes a day to ask myself, what is it I want today, personally, experientially, giving and receiving wise, in the trajectory of what I think I want in the future, and readjusting the meaning of my past to align with it as well. Then I ask myself to create efficiencies. Who can I help with what I want and who can help me? Then I get into how, utilizing the lenses of productivity, accessibility, and gratitude with time, to look at the activities I planned, activities I don't have planned, and my sleep in order to effectuate what I want today in the trajectory of the future, which allows me to more effectively prioritize, which is the antidote to procrastination and feeling overwhelmed. I prioritize what's important to me. Now, to that measure, every day I vacation. Every day I vacation. That's important to me personally. Now, do I vacation for 90% of my day? No. But when my personal values, experiential values, giving and receiving values of the day in the trajectory of what I think I want are prioritized in that way, then that's when I prioritize 90% of my time towards vacationing. And yet 10% is still there for activity I get paid for, not just activity I don't get paid for. I believe the continuum of the conscious and subconscious and unconscious mind create efficiencies that are chemical, biochemical, and anatomical within the construct of the cell and the energy and information that is distributed to and from and through that cell, that aggregates and compounds in its interest only if you give attention and intention to it each and every day, not the exact amount of time the same day. Now, I have had clients fire me, not you, Free Willy, but I've had clients fire me, which allows me to take someone like you off of my wait list to work with because they're not aligned with the consistent, persistent pursuit of their potential. And they tell me, no, personally, David, I have to go off the grid. And I will tell you that I put prejudice to that originally. I prejudged that and said, that's foolish. You don't understand anatomy, biochemistry, chemistry. You don't understand spirituality. You don't understand the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious. You don't understand collective conscious. You're creating resistance and interference. You're creating a zeroing effect. And then I realized, as always, that's not true. I don't know what I don't know. All I do know is what's working best for me and the results that I'm getting. And so if this feels right to you, Willie, to have a weighted balance, to use time as a dependent variable of subjective and objective matters, to use the 5 daily practices that I give to everyone in order to be efficient, effective, and statistically successful, to give a minimum amount of time while you are maximizing your activity you don't get paid for to activity you get paid for, or maximize your time sometimes on activity you have planned and maximize sometimes the activities you don't have planned over what you have planned, or even your sleep. So be it, because I am publicly telling everyone that I'm full of shit, that I don't know what I don't know, that I can give you some guidance on where I am and how I got here. And if it's synergistic or supplementary to where you want to be and you feel that it's right or it resonates with you, then join me. But if it doesn't resonate with you and you think I'm full of shit, you're right. Then find someone that is in a situation that you want to be in and does resonate with you and ask them for directions. Don't ask dumb shit David Meltzer for those directions, because I don't know how to get to where somebody else is and how they got there. And I can't tell you if it's not resonating with you. And so fire me from your life, or at least allow me to fall away if that's the case. And I'm fine with it. And I'm going to implement the same thing both ways for me as well. And I think that's the bigger lesson about all of these different people that run these rooms and give advice and, create prejudice, resistance, separation, interference between each other, when we should be supporting each other, because we are our own individual fingerprints. We have our own frequency, and we can only help those that are in that frequency or neighborhood. And the key components of it is, number one, am I listening to someone that's sitting in a situation I want to be with? And two, is it resonating with me then maybe I should ask them how they got to where they are, and then hope that 2, they're a great coach and can bring the best out of us, and 3, they're educated, intellectual, intuitive enough to teach me how to utilize those steps to get to where they are, because that's the fastest way. And then I can teach others. In other words, carry forward an empowerment of empowering others, which scales a collective consciousness that aggregates and compounds that frequency upon itself, which then accelerates everyone in the community of people who are here that resonate with each other, that want to help each other, and know other people that are resonating at that frequency or in that neighborhood that can help us as well. Once again, creating exponential aggregate compounding effect of those behaviors, ideas, and energy. I hope I didn't lose everyone, but I want to reiterate, find someone that's in the situation that you're in and make sure they resonate with you, then ask them for directions to get to where they are. And if it's not me, God bless you, because you're right. I don't know what I don't know. I'm as full of shit as everybody else, but I am within the context of being full of shit. I am where I am, and I know how I got here. And if you want to be where I am and it resonates with you, then ask me for directions. And if not, all I can do is inspire you to go find someone that is where you want to be and does resonate with you. Does that sound fair, Willie?
Yes, it does, my friend. All I gotta say is let's ride. You know how to drop the mic, and let's keep this thing going. I'll see you very soon.
I love it, man. Well, that was an epiphany for me, everyone. Now, I got 2 minutes left, Jake, and I'm going to give everyone the question online because I want to control the time. Ask me what my latest epiphany is. And here it is for everyone in the last 2 minutes. I believe that everyone gets kicked in the face the same amount of times on average each day. And time is the dependent variable of all matter for me. And so what makes the difference in life is that when you get kicked in the face, it creates an ego-based response. It creates a need to be angry, upset. It creates a need to be separate, inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, guilty, resentful, offended, whatever it is. When you get kicked in the face, on average, let's say it's 8 times a day, instead of accelerating in the wrong direction with all of those needs of fear and ego, the secret sauce is to focus and practice the amount of time it takes you to get back to your higher self. So if you get kicked in the face 8 times a day and it takes you on average an hour to get back to center, or worse, a day, a week, a month, or a year, imagine how much more productive and accessible and gracious you can be if it only takes you minutes and moments to get back to your higher self. And so if we can acquire the knowledge that everybody gets kicked in the face every day, on average, the same amount of time, the difference is how long does it take you to clear that anxiety, fear, frustration, anger, guilt, resentment, interference between you and your higher self. So everybody, please take away, find your higher self, practice identifying when you're kicked in the face, how you're reacting, and practice getting back to your higher self so you could be productive, accessible, and gracious. Everybody, not only find those that sit in a situation that you want to be in that resonates with you, but find others that you can help do the same. And I promise you, it will be the fastest and statistically successful way to get what you want, who you can help, who can help you, and how best to get it done. It'll allow you to prioritize your time that you're given by not looking or searching for what you already have, but applying it. You are happy, healthy, wealthy, and worthy. Let's figure out what you're doing to interfere with it. Be more interested than interesting. Be kind to your future self. Do good deeds. Email me, david@dmeltzer.com, for the Invest in Yourself guide. I'm happy to give it to everyone. Jake, close out the room. I love you, my friend. Take care.
Love you too, and thank you everyone for joining. Wow.
Thank you. Everyone, what a great day. Please email me if you need that help. David@dmeltzer.com, pinned right there. I appreciate everyone. Please join me every single week, every single day. David@dmeltzer.com. Follow me, David Meltzer. Thank you, thank you, thank you.